Hi, boy, the Professor Kev Show. I got my friend Nia with us, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her idea. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Let's begin. So my idea slash my app, it's called NyaayRakshak. So NyaayRakshak is a Hindi word which stands for Protector of Justice in English. Okay.
Okay.
Now a little about what my app does. So what my app does is, firstly the idea behind it and how I was inspired from it. So why I started this app in the first place is because I come from India. And even though I live in a tier one city, I know the things all around India, they're not the same. There's a lot of disparity, a lot of gap in every place or every sector of India differently. And I don't feel it because I come from a tier one city, but I have lived in two, three other cities as well, and situations are not the same for everyone. Now, what I mean in terms of the gap or disparity here is disparity in justice per se. So here you can only afford justice if you can afford paying for it. You get a high-end lawyer, you pay lakhs of rupees, you pay crores of rupees, you hire them to fight for you. And the people who are marginalized or the people who are on the lower side of the economy, they probably never get justice at all. Their cases are shut or they're overpowered by somebody in opposition who's probably more powerful than they are. And when you've lived around in India, you see this difference very prominently. And you're in Mumbai, you don't see it because everybody's a wealth hoarder and everybody's equally rich. But if you live in other cities in India, you see it. And I was inspired from this idea personally. So I have seen people fight legally for their land, for if they've been a survivor of probably sexual assault or rape or domestic abuse per se, or they've been treated unfairly at health institutions. I have seen people fight with all they have, and at a point, they exhaust all their resources, but they still don't get the justice they deserve. So why created this app is because I saw this gap in the market that exists. And for me, this app means a lot because I have experienced something similar, and only a person who's been in such a similar situation is able to understand the gravity of it, right? So I've been in a very similar situation as well before, and I think that of the place where I come from, I'm very I have a great idea about this. So talking about what this app does. So this app connects the people who are marginalized or people on the lower end of the economy with lawyers who are willing to take their cases up as pro bono or probably at a very low or minimum rate, which they wouldn't usually find if they were to go out on their own and look out for a lawyer outside, I mean, normally. So this app, it takes a very minimum fee for about like 150 to 300 rupees, which is $3 to $4, right? Which is less or basically nothing. So this app charges that convenience fee. That convenience fee, I think 80% commission goes to the app and 20% to the lawyers. And as for the lawyers, they're not looking to monetize this case at all. So for them, it is pro bono work. And the people, they are connected with the lawyers, so they can meet with the lawyers virtually, they can book sessions with the lawyers virtually, they can get legal advice virtually, or they can meet with the lawyers in person, whatever is convenient for them per se. So this is what the primary purpose of this app is, but there are other things as well. So one other thing about this app is, okay, so in Mumbai, the city where I live, the police or the government has started this initiative wherein any person who's traveling home late at night, if they do not find a public transport vehicle or if they do not find any sort of means of travel to or transport to come home from, they can send their location to Mumbai police and they pick them up at that very location and drop them off in a vehicle, which I think is a great initiative, right? So this app has another option wherein you can share your location up to three people. People who are either your relatives, your best friends, your significant others, or family members, or any person of that sort. And you can share your location with them 24/7. So there's a sense of safety you have that even if you are in a stranded place, or even if you're being followed by someone or feeling unsafe, you know that people have your location, so they're able to identify where you are. And another option is if you're not able to reach out to your family members in that situation, you can send an SOS or emergency message to the Mumbai police, the same portal, and you can have them pick you up at that very location. And as for these vehicles, there are a lot of them in the entire city. So you can find one within like a 2 kilometer radius and it'll be there within 5 minutes. So you know you're safe. And if you feel unsafe at any point of time, you can just send that SOS message and they will be there to pick you up. So this is the second utility of the app. The third is it has a 24 by 7 mental health therapist or chatbot, as we call it, because AI is so up and coming and we need to sort of blend technology with legal aid here as we're looking at it. So this app has a 24 by 7 chatbot wherein a person, a lot of times survivors are usually suffering from mental health issues like depression, anxiety, stress, and all of those things. So if they feel like they need to talk to someone, they can probably use the AI. And if they feel AI is not enough, there is an option to talk to a real-time therapist, either virtually or on call, or just connect to them via text or anything of that sort. So if you feel AI is not enough for you, you can connect with a therapist, a real-time certified therapist or a practitioner. So that's the third utility of the app. And the last and the fourth utility of this app is you have this resources section wherein you're able to find testimonials, links to helplines, and to certain websites that are meant to help you if you're suffering from any of these problems mentally or legally. And those resources, you can go through them, you can watch the testimonials of similar people and people who've been in similar positions as you. And that it sort of acts like this emotional support subconsciously for you. So you have the resources, links, and one section is just resources. So there's still a lot to work on. The app is still a work in progress. I mentioned it before coming on this podcast.
Yep.
So this app is still a work in progress. So there's still a lot you need to do because when you talk about getting legal aid, and in India especially, not everybody is willing to do pro bono work. It is very few people, and they all basically just work for money like lawyers. It's a very exploited field here, and justice is due to owing to the population as well. Not everybody gets justice. There are so many cases that are open and shut due to the volume of cases and the ratio of lawyers to cases that are available, and due to the affordability of lawyers as well. So this app is meant to help those people. And as for lawyers, so currently the network is I have a few friends whose parents are in the law field or in the legal field who are willing to help. And they have connected me with other lawyers as well. And I have family members who work in criminal law as well. So they have also decided to take this opportunity up as an opportunity for good fame. So now what they get out of this is good publicity and goodwill of the people they help, right? So there'll be certain social media posts of those people helping these people. There'll be good publicity, and probably if at one point we have enough funding, there could be a newspaper release or a release in any e-magazine, which is very prominent because everything comes at a cost, and in order to publish a release, it takes a lot of money. So that's obviously something that I wish to do in the future. But as of now, they get good publicity and goodwill out of it. And as for the therapists, so the therapists, they are paid, and again, it's via the network of people. So the people that I know through LinkedIn, or the people, I'm sorry, am I audible?
You're good. Keep going.
Okay. So as for the therapists, so people who are either in the third or fourth year of bachelor's in psychology or working with a licensed practitioner, or people who are therapists themselves, like they have licenses, valid licenses, they are the ones who help on the whole mental health AI therapist part of it. And as far as funding is concerned, this app does charge a commission. So 80% goes to the app out of the total cost, that is 150 to 300 rupees, and the 20% goes to the lawyer. So the 80% that comes to the app is invested back in till we break even, because costs are involved. So you need to pay some sum or some commission to the lawyers. You need to pay something to the psychologists who are working with you, and you need to also pay it to the app developers who are constantly maintaining the app, right? There's a lot that goes on in the UI, UX, and the back end of the app. So a lot of things take a lot of take a lot of costs and everything. So that's why this app is online. Had I had more funding, it would have been offline. But since, or due to the restriction of funding that I have, it's online. And even though the government has certain grants or subsidies for people who are willing to pursue their own startup, here in India, there's this certain system that's called the caste system. So it goes all the way back. I would not like to get into the history of it, but I belong to the general caste, or what is referred to as the elites. And there are people who are not elites. So there's this section which I don't think it should exist, but it does. So funding is limited only to those who are on the lower end and not to the people who are actually willing to pursue it. So getting funding from the government is also a task. And given the population size and the way education is, just everybody is sort of pursuing it, it is really difficult to get funding. So with the limited amount of funding I have, I've taken this app online. But as and when we break even, we start collecting funds, we start marketing the app more. I plan to establish sort of like an offline, I plan to lease out a space and sort of put this whole thing offline and online and run it on both ends, because people might not consider an app very reliable if they see it online, right? But they might have more trust if they were to think that the app is offline as well, so they can visit the headquarters if they think the app online does not make sense to them. And as far as privacy is concerned, the lawyers are verified. So there'll be background checks that'll be run on the lawyers, and there'll be NDAs signed with each and every lawyer and the client, so that confidentiality remains, because that's of key when it comes to legal cases, right? Leaking information. And there's also a lot of times there's a lot of conflict of interest involved with lawyers, especially because they might be representing two people who are on the opposing sides, right? So that part is also taken care of. And this was my app, more or less, and I wish to take it offline if I have the funds to do so in the future.
All right. So if people have questions, what's the best way to reach out to you to learn more, my friend?
I'm sorry.
If people have questions about the app, what's the best way to reach out to you? How can they learn more?
My LinkedIn or my email or anything of that. So yeah, email and LinkedIn, yeah.
Okay. What's the email, my friend?
Should I just type it out in the chat box?
No, no, just tell us.
Okay, so it's N Sarda, which is NSARDA 26 at the rate gmail.com.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you.